doesn't give anything away, but
quiet down, please.
he must be getting excited now. Just 5 frames away from the promised land and a third world title. He is dominating John Higgins right now. The one caveat, Williams himself trailed by the same margin when he won his first world title in 2000 against his good friend Matthew Stevens. 13-7 adrift, came back to win 18-16.
No disrespect to all the other players on tour, but there's probably a few players that when they get a lead like this, in a match like this, they're never going to surrender it. Selby, Higgins, Williams. I'm struggling from here. Everyone else, there's a possibility that they could crack, feel the pressure, show weakness, and someone like Higgins and Williams would pounce on that. But I just don't see it with these two. Yeah, they might have a little moment, they might twitch a little bit of nerves, but they'll quickly gather themselves together and just get on with the job in hand.
Well, you're too modest to say it, but I will. You're the ultimate example of that front-running bully. Get in front and then demoralise them.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of players get in front. It's just like, you know, when it gets to the winning line, you know, can they hold it together? And like I say, probably 95% of the players on tour just haven't got that. Very good players, nice players, do a lot of good things right. To be a multiple world champion, to win the major titles on a consistent basis, you've got to have a little bit more than that. And that comes from, I don't know whether it's inbuilt, I don't know whether it's something you learn, but you know who's got it and who hasn't.
Yes, and the very best down the years, and of course we think of Steve Davis in the 80s and Stephen Hendry, who monopolised the 90s. They didn't just like to beat their opponent, did they? They liked to grind them into the dust. Davis once beat John Parrott, a world champion in his own right, 18-3 in this final. And he gave absolutely no quarter, even when victory was inevitable. Are the wheels beginning to come off for John Higgins? He's under so much pressure now. He's not playing as well as he needs to. Mark Williams is picking him off in some style right now. This time Williams hasn't got away with it, but it's dead straight, not very nice. Higgins frozen out.
John Higgins won.
He finished awkwardly on his intended baulk colour. And here we go again.
One.
This is why this tournament is so hard, because, you know, you look at John now, it's been 16 days, and it can all be for nothing. I know he's made the final, he's made a decent bit of money, but as far as John will be concerned, if he doesn't win this trophy, it'll be a complete failure. That's why it's such a hard tournament. Sometimes you're better off getting beat first round so you don't have to go through the pain. It's like getting to a marathon, doing the first 24 miles, and then blowing up right at the end. Sometimes you're better off blowing up after a mile. Going in, have a nice cup of tea, have a nice shower, and watch the race on.
His hopes are looking pretty bleak.
11.
You have to say in John's case, because he's had such a good, you know, he's never really gone missing in his career. You always say he's a favourite to win the Worlds. So the expectation level is always there with John.
11.
But Mark has not really had the best to see, you know, 4 or 5 years as a pro. Like you said, he was ready to retire next year. So he's come in like a born-again Christian. It's like snooker's like he's got a new lease of life. He's a born-again snooker player. And I just think this year he's just gained confidence and he's come here under the radar in most people's eyes. I know he hasn't come under the radar and under the players' eyes and the media and the press that follow the snooker season all year round. To the general public, they probably thought, you know, well, this is a bit of a... Mark's having a tournament. So he's kind of, with his game and what he knows and what he's capable of, he's kind of just slipped in many ways. And it's a different type of pressure that he's probably feeding to John. Like you say, Mark's just happy to be playing well again. No better place to play well than here at Sheffield, you know.
And he won't be getting ahead of himself either. He knows that if anyone can turn this around, it's John Higgins. But something's got to happen seriously quickly now for Higgins. 3-0 down in this session. You've got to think he needs to win this one and 3 of the remaining 4 thereafter. And even then, he'll be up against it. He'd scored just 24 points in the 3 completed frames
6.
in this session before this one got underway. Can he find some fluency again? He's overcut it.
John Higgins, 6.
Well, you said it, Ronnie, this place can grind you into the dust when you're struggling. And even though there are 1,000 pairs of eyes trained on your every move, I guess it must feel very lonely when you just can't produce what you're desperately trying to.
Yeah, you sort of end up getting embarrassed out there sometimes. You just think, you want a big hole to open up so you can jump in it. And it's not pressure. There's no one better at dealing with pressure than John. He's just not fine. He's not in touch. He's not in with his game. And the crucible and the long sessions expose that and bring it out. Like I've always said, it's not always the best player that wins at the World Championships, it's the most consistent. And, you know, you obviously need a high-level game in the first place. But the guy that wins here is usually the guy that is, you know, that doesn't go missing for long. You start losing 3, 4 frames on the bounce, you don't want to be on them to win the tournament, trust me.
Well, those stats made grim reading, didn't they? For John Higgins, 63% pot success. That's in this session. Just miles below where he would normally be. Black currently out of commission. the way to one pocket.
5.
Bit of wildlife, getting a bird's eye view. Certainly no flies on Williams today. He'll be desperately disappointed. This is precisely what he didn't need today. He needed to make the sort of start that Williams made in the first session. But that's gone wrong.
14. $18. 19.
This is the final frame before the mid-session interval. And as unthinkable as it is, Williams wins it. He could yet seal this final with a session to spare.
24.
Unlikely. But you never know.
25.
I can possibly see it being 17-8. Unless John comes out and starts going mad, which is possible.
30.
Just don't see it at the moment.
$31.
And if he's to win this match, John Higgins, he's going to need a lot of help from Mark Williams. I don't think he's going to be able to do it alone on good play now. So he's going to have to rely on Mark having a bit of a major collapse. It's a combination of a collapse from Mark and brilliant play from John. That's the only way John can win this tournament now.
And Mark Williams has never been for collapsing. Yes, he had a few seasons in the doldrums, but remember, we're talking about a multiple
44.
world, UK and Masters champion who knows what it takes to get over the line in the very biggest events.
45.
Which means that realistically, you've got to think Higgins needs all four after the interval, just as Mark Williams has achieved before it. What a session the Welshman has enjoyed here. We talk about
56.
Higgins being clinical and ruthless. Well, that's precisely what Williams has been. He's capitalised on Higgins' mistakes with something big pretty much every time. And John Higgins marches to the dressing room, no doubt feeling a little forlorn. Mark Williams will be feeling $1 million right now. He's edging towards his third world title. He is bossing